Hi guys, and welcome back to JoJo Teachers. Today we are going to continue learning about Abraham. Last video we looked at 3 promises that God had given Abraham: land, family, and blessing. Now before I start teaching you about Abraham, we're going to play a little game. What I want you to do is pause this video and ask an adult to get you a treat. It might be a little bit of a chocolate, it might be a little lolly, just a treat, but I don't want you to eat it. I want you to get it and come back to the video and have it in front of you. All right, go. All right, have you got it? I've got a little gummy bear. And what I want you to do with your treat is I don't want you to eat it just yet. I want you to be patient and wait. I want you to see if you can make it to the end of this video before you eat it. So you can put it down, and I want you to be patient. I want you to wait. So last week, God showed Abraham the land. Now he didn't give it to Abraham just yet, but Abraham still said thank you. And remember, he built an altar too. God's promises of family and blessing were to come, but 20 years after God made the promise, Abraham still had none. Abraham was 100 when the promises came true. He had a child and they called him Isaac, and Isaac grew and grew. One day, God gave Abraham a test. He told Abraham to sacrifice Isaac on an altar. Abraham was confused, but he trusted that God knew best. Now, God didn't want to hurt Isaac. That's not what God ever wants to do. God wanted to show that Abraham trusted him. It was actually for me and for you. So they went together up the mountain with everything they needed for the plan. Isaac looked around and said, "Hey Dad, where's the lamb?" Abraham told Isaac that God would provide. There hadn't been a time where God could not be trusted. There hadn't been a time where God had lied. So Abraham tied up Isaac, ready to go. Then suddenly an angel called out and said, "No!" The angel told Abraham that now it was clear Abraham trusted God's promise, and a ram did appear. So Abraham sacrificed the ram instead of his son. He called the place God Will Provide, because that's exactly what God had done. God will provide. That's an important thing for us to remember. Let's say that together. God will provide. That's 2 important things that we need to remember. God always keeps his promises, and God will provide. Now, have you managed to be patient and wait like Abraham did in this story? Abraham waited 20 years for God to keep one of his promises, the promise of a family through Abraham's son Isaac. Now, we didn't have to wait 20 years to have our lolly, but we did have to wait, and it's important to wait. We need to wait for God too, and we need to trust that God always keeps his promises, and while we're waiting, God will provide. That means God gives us things. That doesn't mean that God gives us silly things. God gives us the things we need. God gives us clothes and food. God gives us families, and God gives us himself in the Bible so we can learn about him. Let's thank God. Remember to close your eyes and keep your hands still so you don't get distracted when we're talking to God. Let's pray. Dear God, thank you that you provide. Thank you that you give us everything we need, and that you even give us you so that we can know you and we can love you. Please help us to remember that you always keep your promises and that you provide. Amen. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Bye.